Please listen carefully.
Well, hello, universe, and welcome to the Optimist Daily Update. I'm Kristy Jansen.
And I'm Summers Kristy.
And we're part of the team behind the Optimist Daily, making solutions the news. We bring you reader-funded solutions news every day in order to change the tenor of news media, social media, and the direction of your day to make it one focused on solutions.
7 days a week, we publish positive news stories written by award-winning journalists and delivered online to your inbox and through our social channels. And also, we are sharing these solutions in a commute-worthy, walk-worthy, home office-worthy, happy hump day-worthy podcast. Today is Wednesday, the 7th of October, 2020. Kristy, how is Wednesday looking for you?
It is just fine and dandy. I like Wednesdays for some reason. I don't know. The middle of the week, it's the point of no return. It's all downhill from here. Heading right into the weekend, which is one of my favorite times of the week.
I just imagined you in like a Calvin and Hobbes like cartoon where you're just like in a cart careening wildly down a hill with Tucker in the back and his tongue hanging out like toward a weekend of hiking and trees and joy. And anyway, that's the vision that just happened in my head because clearly I am in a better mood today than I was yesterday. But, you know, mostly that's probably because of Optimist Daily, I think. We have some pretty good topics to talk about. But before we get to those topics, what is it like being home with your family and with Tucker after, have you guys settled back in? 3 weeks away was a long time.
It was a long time. I was with my family. I was with my son. I just wasn't with my husband and my dog. It's nice. It's actually quite nice to be back with them. I have now discovered Wayfair because now that I'm back here, there's definitely some things I'd like to change about my furniture. So I'm starting to look there and investigate what I might do. Plus, while I was gone, my husband started piling stuff up on the shelves in our garage and they immediately collapsed. So right now they're sort of like in dire need of being repaired. So I think today is when my first Wayfair delivery is supposed to arrive.
Oh, this is so exciting.
So I get to organize our garage in a whole new way, and I'm very excited about that.
We are similarly nesting at our house because I think, as many of you know, I was looking for a house for a long time, and then like we just decided we're going to stay right where we are because our owners said okay. And I am also a Wayfair groupie. So what's coming from Wayfair, Kristy? I'm so excited. Will you Instagram pictures of it or just tell me?
It's an extra heavy duty shelves that are 16 inches deep and 6 feet tall, and I don't know, it'll be a great organizational there, and then we can use the one shelf to go to the other part of the garage. Anyway, it's gonna transform our downstairs, and then I am also getting a kitchen cabinet to replace a bookshelf that will be where we keep all of Tucker's dog treats and his food in the upstairs kitchen. So that'll be fun to see how that all goes.
Well, yeah. I'm excited. At least maybe you can take me on a video tour of your updated house. I think I haven't updated you, but we figured out that we could actually drop off our books at the Ojai Valley Library Foundation. So we have gotten rid of about, 3 dozen books, maybe 4 dozen. Ooh. Our 16-year-old is cleaning out her room. And then I continued on my closet, purge. And we donated all of those to a local women's shelter, a women and children's shelter here in Oxnard. And even this morning, our 16-year-old who was cleaning out her closet, she had left 4 bags out, and I piled them into the back of the car as my husband was leaving. And I said, yeah, go ahead and drop these off. And I delighted in how much fun I am having getting rid of stuff. So I guess you and I are both in a nesting kind of mood.
Nesting and clearing the clutter, it opens up all that positive cosmic energy, brings that light in to our homes. And anyway, I like it. So what are we going to talk about today from the Optimist Daily, though, besides cleaning our houses?
We are going to span the generations of story solutions today, and we are starting with poop and babies. So this is a solution that I came across. Actually, my high school biology teacher originally shared this story on social media. Good old Mr. Hallman and I still connect on social, and we're on Facebook together. And I love the stories that he shares because they're obviously great science-based stories, and he's a brilliant guy. So thank you, Guy Hallman, for this story. But we shared it with our writers, and they agreed, the editorial team agreed, that this was a sound solution to review. So the headline reads, Fecal Transfers Shown to Promote Healthier Gut Microbes in C-Section Babies. We're just going to get a little biological here, but when a baby is born vaginally and pushed through the vaginal canal, they are bathed in the microbes that include microbes from the maternal fecal system. And they used to do enemas relatively aggressively for women who were going into labor. That practice has changed. It's changed for a couple of reasons. The vanity requirement of not pooping while you're giving birth has sort of been lifted because the medical practice is just very efficient at making a mother feel comfortable. But there are also health benefits to not stripping out the healthy microbes that are in a maternal system while a baby is born. My little one was born by a C-section after a week-long labor and 3 failed inductions, and I was a little concerned because there is so much value to vaginal birth. What this study shows is that babies who are born by a C-section often have different gut microbes than those who are delivered vaginally, for the reasons I just explained. This may sound a little gross, but babies who are fed a tiny, microscopic amount of their mother's fecal material develop thriving gut bacteria similar to those delivered vaginally. Now, the baby's first, meal needs barely a notion of the fecal material in order for this to happen. Ways that this can help a baby is it prevents the likelihood of inflammatory bowel disease, rheumatoid arthritis, celiac disease. Certainly more trials are required for this, but I love the idea that we are abandoning this super sterile notion of birth and this super sterile experience of understanding the value of poop and our microbiome. So
one person's trash is another person's treasure.
Exactly. One person's trash. Yep.
Redefining waste is all about what living naturally is and getting back in touch with the circle of life, the cycle of life. And so I think, yes, we are trained in our modern sensibilities to feel disgust when we think about things like fecal transplants or these kind of microbial sharing. But honestly, this is part of how we as living organisms have survived and have grown to health and vitality in the world. So what all this does really is imitate the natural cycle that occurs during vaginal birth. So it's giving those C-section babies a little boost.
Exactly.
Can't hurt, right?
Yep. Can't hurt. So, Kristy, what did you want to talk about on the other side of the life spectrum?
Yeah, the other end of the cycle of life, which I thought it was sort of amusing to think about in the context of today's podcast, right? But the article that I wanted to highlight, the headline reads, in the future, this gravity-defying robot could help the elderly do their chores. And so from birth to age and infirmity, we have to think about the entire life cycle. And the truth is that the Earth's population is aging, and we are, in the United States, older than we've ever been in terms of our average population. I was just reading about the gerontocracy which leads our country, which definitely has some issues, but other countries are also really facing a shortage of new young people to take care of the growing older population. And so in some countries like Japan, whereas today there are 10 people under the age of 65 for every 1 senior, the United Nations predicts that it'll be just 5 to 1 by 2050, and in Japan it'll be less than 2 to 1, which means that there's going to be solutions needed for how to take care of a growing, aging population in the future. And Japan is way ahead of us in thinking about this in terms of their transportation systems, in terms of how they take care of people in their homes. But one idea comes out of Toyota, the Japanese automaker, and they are investing in building home robots. And basically what they've developed is a gravity-defying robot. It attaches to the ceiling, and it helps take care of homes by dropping down and doing the cleaning for folks who are not as agile as they used to be. So instead of being a Roomba, which goes around the floor, this robot actually hangs from the ceiling, and then it drops down when it's needed to wipe counters or clear clutter, load the dishwasher, And then when it's not needed, it folds back up into the ceiling. And for an older person, this is super important because one of the main hazards in the home as you get older is tripping and falling. And so having a ground-dwelling robot may not be the best thing for your household, even if it needs to be vacuumed. So having it live in the ceiling is fine. I just found this story kind of amusing. It's a fun one, and it's being developed by Toyota, so it's not actually on the market yet, but it's a new idea. And again, what I like about this solution is outside of the box. We tend to focus on the ground when we think about space, but when you look up and you think about the ceiling, which is that's a large expanse of square footage. You could put stuff up there that could actually help you in the home of the future. So this is just a solution looking to the future.
I love the idea of looking up at the ceilings and using vertical space. And I think this takes us all the way back to our Wayfair conversation. Yes. I will say that when we moved into this home, my husband loves bicycles and has a bicycle company, and we live by the ocean, so it's a very high rust factor, and he decided he wanted to keep all of our good bicycles in the living room. The living room, which is also the kitchen, which is also the dining room.
How does that work with having a 1-year-old toddling around on the
he put these huge steel hooks in the ceiling, and it's this fabulous, wooden ceiling with these gorgeous, perfect white beams, and my husband was like, well, this space is available. And he screwed these massive hooks into the ceiling, I don't know, probably a year after we moved in. And our homeowners came one day and saw them and were just aghast by that choice. And they are very great homeowners, but they were like, hey, can we just ask for, no more hooks in the ceiling? So, yes, use vertical space. Yes, there is a lot more space in your home if you think vertically. No, don't perhaps hang bicycles from your dining room ceiling.
But a hanging robot could be really great, right?
Exactly. We talk about this all the time, right? The drones and the robots and the nanotechnology and all of these. But I think when we really look at managing how we live and how we live differently, all of these technologies are just advancing opportunity for vitality, for abundance, for independence and self-care. And I love this story as well, even though I do crack up at the idea of my ceilings having robots to come down. But, my Roomba and I, we speak Portuguese together all day. So I guess a ceiling hanging robot could join. Let me touch base on some of the other headlines we have on the Optimist Daily today. Citizen Science Project lets you fight deforestation from your couch or your garden or wherever you are sitting outside. And
another good thing to do from home while you're cleaning it up and making it more livable.
Exactly. Nesting and building robots on your ceiling. Speaking of nesting, bird watching. These 3 tools let you track migratory birds near you. We have so many birders in my area, and I am a heron fan. We have beautiful nesting herons. Obviously, they're all through nesting at this point. But birding is a big thing in my community, and I'm not an avid birder, but I might start with these tools. Planet Care device catches microfibers released by your washing machine. Now, guys, microfibers actually end up in the ocean. And we have some other solutions around how to wash safely and wash with less of a footprint that will be coming up on the Optimist Daily. But take a look at Planet Care. There is a pilot program using e-bikes to remove emissions from delivery in Brazil. E-bikes bring you your masala twist, which is where we order from every week. So that's pretty interesting. And then, there are a bunch more. I'll just hit this last one, which is back to nesting. 3D printed decoy eggs are tracking down illegal wildlife traffickers.
So today's solutions are pretty hilarious to me. I mean, not hilarious. They're very important, many of them, but they also made me smile. So I think it's
like a slightly lighter day than yesterday was.
Yeah.
And, the whole world's just feeling a little lighter today than it did yesterday. And I think it's just going to get better, right?
We need more humor. Humor is one of those really essential tools. Speaking of dealing with emotional inflammation that we were talking about yesterday. And we have to remind everybody that we do have the webinar, the free webinar on emotional information coming up on Friday. So laugh a little, smile a lot, hug whoever you can, whoever's safe in your household.
Your pet, your plants, your robots.
Your pet, your partner, your plants. Yeah.
And your books that you haven't thrown away. Okay. We have to wrap up, Kristy. We are having so much fun today. I'm going to just thank everybody for listening to the Optimist Daily Update. We promise to continue to share positive solution-based stories with ideas on how you can participate in this changing world and ensure it is changed for good. We promise to cover the current events with accuracy, legitimate sources, and offer you the information needed most to chart new paths for all of us.
And please consider becoming an emissary on theoptimistdaily.com. For only $5 a month, you can help support reader-funded, independent journalism that is the Optimist Daily. Be a part of the solution-changing consciousness that addresses our world's biggest challenges with a problem-solving mindset. Let's keep the Optimist Daily free for everyone who needs it, which is really all of us, supported by all of us who can. Thank you so much for listening today, and we will be back with you tomorrow.
Bye, everybody.